I never thought betrayal could taste like stale airport coffee and the metallic tang of panic sweat under fluorescent lights. She looked me dead in the eyes, those same eyes I'd trusted for 8 years, and said, "Walk it off, Alex. You're tougher than this." Then she peeled out of the short-term parking lot in my goddamn SUV, leaving me stranded with nothing but a burner phone and the dawning horror that my body wasn't mine anymore. It started with a whisper in a Silicon Valley lab, the kind of secret that gets buried under NDAs thicker than a politician's conscience. Dr. Elena Voss, my fiancée, my partner in crime against the mundane world, had cracked it. Body transference. Not some sci-fi bullshit, but real. Cold fusion of neural mapping and CRISPR-Ed biotech. Swap consciousnesses like swapping SIM cards. We'd laughed about it over Napa Reds, dreaming of cheating death, extending our prime. But Elena? She saw power. And I was her lab rat. By the time I pieced it together, sprawled on the cold tile of O'Hare's Terminal 3, my limbs felt like they belonged to a stranger, heavy, unfamiliar, laced with the ghost aches of a life I never lived. The call came 5 minutes later. Her voice, frantic, not the cool surgeon's drawl I'd fallen for. "Alex? Oh God. It's you." Something went wrong, the swap reversed. I'm in your body. And they're coming for me. That voice on the line, it was Elena, but cracked, like fine china hitting concrete. I'd know that timbre anywhere. The way it dipped low when she was scheming, high when she was scared. Right then, it was all fear, raw and ugly, the kind that strips away the Ivy League polish and leaves you with a Midwestern girl from nowhere, Ohio, clawing for air. "Coming for you?" I rasped, my new throat, his throat scraping like sandpaper. I didn't even know whose body this was yet. The hands gripping the phone were broader, knuckles scarred from manual labor, not the manicured surgeon's paws I'd woken up with that morning. My reflection in the terminal's glass wall showed a face I didn't recognize, square-jawed, late 40s, salt and pepper stubble, eyes hollowed by whatever hell this poor bastard had endured. "Elena, what the fuck did you do?" She sobbed, actual sobs, not the performative ones she'd weaponized in boardrooms. It was supposed to be temporary. A test run. Victor, he funded it. Alex. Victor Hale. You know, the pharma kingpin? He wanted immortality for his inner circle. But first, a proof of concept. I volunteered you. Said you'd agree. The neural bridge, it glitched. I woke up in your skin, staring at my own corpse in the lab gurney. Your bodies. It's failing. Fast. Victor Hale. The name landed like a gut punch. I'd met him once, at a fundraiser in San Francisco. All Silver Fox charm and whispers of off-books trials that could revolutionize human potential. Elena had gushed about his Rolodex senators, CEOs, the kind of men who made laws bend like wet noodles. I'd chalked it up to her ambition, the fire that drew me to her. Now, it was clear she'd been playing me like a mark from the jump. I staggered to my feet, the weight of this borrowed husk pulling me sideways. O'Hare was a ghost town at 2 a.m., the last red-eye stragglers shuffling like zombies toward security. Rain hammered the massive windows, turning the runways into smeared black mirrors. My mind raced, flashes of the procedure, she called it. A weekend getaway to his private clinic in the Marin Headlands. "Trust me, baby," she'd purred, slipping the sedative into my fore. "This is our ticket to forever." But forever for who? Not me. Apparently. The swap was meant to let Hale's cronies jump into younger, healthier shells. Donate your body. Keep your mind. Wake up 20 years fresher. Ethical black hole? Sure. But in America, ethics are for suckers without a billion-dollar buffer. I'd been the disposable variable. The fiancé too lovesick to question the fine print.
Elena.
Where are you? I demanded, ducking into a deserted gate lounge, the plastic chairs mocking my ass with their unyielding grip. This body, Jesus. It reeked of cheap cigarettes and regret. Muscles knotted from years at a desk that paid peanuts. Chicago. I'm at the lab annex, Hale's black site under the old meatpacking district. Alex. They think I'm you. Hale's goons are en route. He wants the tech back.
And he thinks you're the glitch.
If they find me in your body, she trailed off. But I filled in the blanks. Hale's world was clean rooms and NDAs. But cross him, you vanished into a tragic accident stat line. Car wrecks on I-80, overdoses in luxury suites. I'd read the whispers on dark web forums, dismissed them as conspiracy porn. Now they were my obituary. Walk it off, she'd said at the drop-off. My face twisted in something between pity and revulsion. She'd driven me here in a haze. Post-swap disorientation making the world tilt like a bad acid trip. You've got cash in the glove box. Figure it out. Then she was gone. Tires squealing on wet asphalt, leaving me to stumble into the terminal like a drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. I needed answers. This body, whose was it? Patting down the unfamiliar jeans. I found a wallet. Daniel Hargrove. 47. Truck driver from Gary, Indiana. Union card. Faded photo of 2 kids who looked nothing like me.
Shit.
I'd stolen his life. Or Elena had. No, Hale had. These were his discards. Bodies harvested from the desperate, the indebted. Pay off your medical debts with your flesh? Sign here. The phone buzzed. Text from Elena. Lab cords attached. Come alone. Bring nothing. A map pinged. A nondescript warehouse off Fulton Market. The kind of place where hipster steakhouses rubbed elbows with ghosts of the stockyards. 20 miles west. But I had no wheels. No ID that matched this face. Uber? In a dead man's skin? Yeah. That'd end well. I bolted for the exit. The chill December wind slapping me like Judgment Day. Chicago's loop loomed. All steel and spite. The L train rattling overhead like bones in a shaker. Hail a cab?
Nah.
Too traceable. Foot it to the blue line? This body was a tank. But tanks run on fuel. And mine was sputtering, headaches blooming behind my eyes. Phantom itches where Elena's neural map clashed with Daniel's meat. Halfway to the station. Paranoia set in. Headlights in the rear view, everyone a threat. Hale's reach? Infinite. Private jets.
Bent cups.
Hackers who could dox your grandma. I'd seen Elena take his calls. Voice shifting to deference. The woman who eviscerated VCs in pitch meetings, suddenly small. Was it love?
No.
Leverage. She'd betted the beast for funding. And I'd been collateral. A black SUV ghosted past, slowing just enough to make my gut clench. I dove into an alley, heart hammering against ribs that felt too tight. Garbage bins overflowed with holiday trash, torn wrapping paper. Like confetti from a party I wasn't invited to. Leaning against the brick, I dry heaved, the world spinning. That's when the memories hit, not mine. His. Daniels. Flashes. A divorce court in Hammond. Judge's gavel like a gunshot. His ex. Tear-streaked. Clutching the kids. Your ghost.
Dan.
Work's all you got left. Then the ad. Clinical trial. Lucrative compensation. Restore your life. Hale's bait. Promising debt relief. A fresh start. Instead, oblivion. I wiped my mouth. Stealing. Elena's call had cracked the facade. This wasn't abandonment. It was desperation. She needed me to fix her mess. Or Hale's cleanup crew would paint the town with our blood. Fine. Revenge simmered. Hot and black as the Chicago River. But first, survival. The blue line screeched in, doors hissing open like a serpent's welcome. I boarded, wedged between night shift stragglers, nurses in scrubs, cabbies nursing flasks. Their eyes slid over me, invisible in the crowd. America's great equalizer, anonymity in the grind. Fulton Market unfolded in sodium-lit decay. The warehouse a squat brutalist box amid gentrified lofts where tech bros sipped $18 IPAs. Elena's text led me to a rusted side door, keypad glowing faintly. I punched in the code she'd sent. Our anniversary. 0714.
Click.
Inside. Sterile white. Humming servers. The acrid bite of ozone from cooling units. She was there. In my body, slender. Dark-haired. The frame I'd sculpted with Pelotons and kale smoothies. But twisted. Hunched over a console. My fingers flying across keys. She looked up. And seeing Daniel's face on me? Horror. Alex. Whisper. Like I'd vaporize.
Yeah.
Your handiwork. I locked the door behind me, scanning for cams. Red lights blinked in corners, Hale's eyes. She crossed to me.
Tentative.
Like approaching a rabid dog. Up close. My old body reeked of fierce sweat, the same I'd worn hours ago. I didn't mean, Victor forced my hand. He knew about us. Threatened to expose the affair. With him. It was business. Alex. Power plays. Affair. The word detonated. Elena and Hale, while I slaved in her shadow. Funding her dreams with my tech patents. Betrayal. Deep as marrow. I'd taken the fall for her once. Fudged logs in a FDA audit. Buried a trial death under complications. Carried her sins like a cross. Thinking love was the glue. You fucked him, I said. Flat. And sold me to keep the lights on. Tears, mine, tracked down her cheeks. It was leverage. He promised the swap for his dying wife.
But then.
He wanted more. Your mind in a donor shell. Mine preserved. I tried to back out. But the glitch. A klaxon wailed. Alarms. Red strobes painted us like slaughterhouse rejects. They're here, she gasped. The reversal protocol, it's in the mainframe. We reboot. Swap back. But Hale's men. Gunfire chewed the door. Sparks flying. I grabbed her, me, yanking toward the server banks. Run. We bolted down a corridor. My borrowed legs pumping like pistons, Daniel's muscle memory kicking in, evading repo men, dodging bar fights.
Elena stumbled.
My body's lithe frame no match for flight. Bullets whined, ricocheting off ducts. Into the lab core, gurneys, monitors beeping like accusatory heartbeats. The neural rig loomed, a spiderweb of cables and helmets, the machine that birthed this nightmare. Strap in, she yelled, slamming panels. I complied. The cold bite of restraints familiar, yet alien. Her hands, shaking, linked the nodes. As the hum built, Hale's voice boomed over intercom. DR.
Was.
Or should I say, Alexandra? Clock's ticking.
Come quiet.
Or your little science project ends in pieces. The machine whirred to life. Electricity crawling my skin. Elena's eyes met mine, pleading, loving, or calculating the angles. Then blackness.
Swap.
I woke gasping. Back in my skin. Lithe. Familiar. But Elena, in Daniel's body, convulsed. Foam at lips.
Glitch?
Or sabotage. Hale's goons breached. TAC vests and MP5S. No time. I hit the emergency purge. Flames erupted. Servers melting like wax. We fled through service tunnels. Smoke choking the air.
Outside.
The meatpacking district stank of blood and brine. Dawn creeping like a thief. You're safe, I panted, propping her against a dumpster. But her eyes, Daniel's eyes, were wrong. Vacant.
Alex.
It didn't take, she whispered.
I'm.
Stuck.
No.
The twist clawed in, she'd rigged it. Not a glitch, a one-way ticket. Me back. Her in the shell. Hale's hounds off her scent, because now she was the nobody. Betrayal squared. She'd played God. And I was the devil left holding the pitchfork. The first light of a Chicago dawn clawed over the skyline, turning the river into a vein of molten steel. We hunkered in the shadow of a derelict rail yard. The distant wail of sirens a symphony for the damned. Elena, or whatever was left of her in Daniel Hargrove's battered frame, wheezed against the chain-link fence, his broad chest heaving like bellows. My body, my real one, ached with the ghost pains of the swap, nerves firing erratically, as if my brain couldn't quite believe the meat it commanded. Stuck. I echoed, the word tasting like ash. I dragged us 2 blocks through the slaughterhouse alleys, dodging patrols that swept the area like sharks scenting chum. Hale's private security, XSALS with more ink than scruples, had the perimeter locked down. Choppers thumping overhead. But here, in this no-man's land of rust and rats, we were ghosts. She nodded, stubble rasping against her collar. The reversal. I adjusted the parameters. Just a hair. Enough to anchor me here. Her voice, his gravelly baritone, cracked on the confession. But her eyes, those sharp hazel I'd once drowned in, burned with defiance. You think I'd let Hale have me? In that fragile shell of yours?
No.
This way.
I'm invisible.
A trucker with priors. No one looks twice. I laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the boxcars. Invisible? That's what she'd made me for 8 years. The supportive fiancé. The silent partner who smoothed the edges of her genius while she chased the spotlight. I'd ghostwritten her grant proposals, laundered data through shell core, even taken the heat when a test subject flatlined during Phase 2. Complications, the report read. My signature at the bottom. I'd carried that corpse in my conscience, buried it deep under bottles of Pinot and her promises of us against the world. And for what? So she could bed the benefactor. Trade my vitality for her escape hatch. You used me, I said, voice steady despite the rage coiling like barbed wire in my gut. Pimped my body like it was venture capital. She reached for me, Daniel's calloused paw clumsy on my arm, and I flinched. It was survival,
Alex.
Hale's not just rich, he's connected. Senators in his pocket. FDA whispers before they're born. He killed my mentor. Accident in the Everglades. Gator bait. I couldn't risk. Risk your pretty face? I slapped her hand away, the sting blooming on my palm. Feminist firebrand in the TED Talks. But when the chips fell, it was every woman for herself. You left me in that shell, stumbling like a drunk at baggage claim. Told me to walk it off. What if I'd ended up in Gary, raising his kids, flipping burgers till the cancer caught up? That's his chart, stage 4. Misdiagnosed.
Elena's face crumpled.
A stranger's mask cracking. I panicked. The initial swap, Hale's wife was the target donor, but she coded on the table. He blamed the tech, demanded a redo with you. I bought time, drove you to O'Hare to regroup. But then the call. I thought the glitch would fix itself. Lies layered like lacquer. I'd seen the console logs in that split second before the purge, code tweaks timestamped to her login. She'd chosen this. Me restored. Her decanted into the dregs. Poetic. In a fucked up way, the golden girl slumming it in the proletariat. Sirens swelled. Blues closing the net. We had minutes.
Tops.
We need wheels, I muttered. Scanning the yard. A battered F-150 idled at the edge. Driver probably nursing a smoke break. American Dream on 4 bald tires. She straightened, rolling shoulders that dwarfed her posture. I'll hotwire it. Dan, this body, he knew cars. Union mechanic on weekends. We crept low, the gravel crunching like teeth underfoot. The driver, a burly guy in Carhartt, oblivious to the apocalypse unfolding, lit up as we approached. One look at Elena's hulking frame, and he tensed. Hey.
Man.
She lunged, forearm like a battering ram across his throat. He gurgled, dropping the cig. But I was there, zip-tying his wrists with cord from my pocket, Elena's foresight, the kit she'd stashed in the lab. Controversial? Hell yes. Assault. Theft. A trail of felonies stacking like Jenga. But in Hale's world, rules were for the ruled. Elena popped the hood, fingers deft despite the bulk, bridging wires with practiced ease. The engine coughed to life. A V8 growl that drowned the sirens. We dumped the driver in the undercarriage, alive, but out cold, and peeled out, the truck fishtailing on wet pavement. Interstate 90 stretched west, toward the endless flatlands of Illinois, cornfields waiting like open graves.
Elena drove.
Knuckles white on the wheel. Daniel's memories bleeding through, evading state troopers after a bar brawl. The adrenaline high of outrunning the blue. Where to? She asked, eyes flicking to the mirrors. East, I said. New York. My old contacts pre-you. Hackers who owe me from the blockchain days. I'd built my first fortune on crypto arbitrage. Anonymous drops in dark pools. Gone legit for her, but the Rolodex lingered. We expose Hale. Leak the trial data, the swaps, the bodies. Make him radioactive. She snorted, a sound too coarse for her soul.
And me?
Accomplice on every charge. Manslaughter for the donors. Fraud for the feds. Collateral, I shot back, echoing her earlier calculus. The word hung. Toxic. Betrayal's echo. The truck 8 miles. Radio crackling with AM talk. Limbaugh reruns ranting about deep state cabals. Fitting. Hale was the real swamp. His empire built on pills that hooked the heartland and tech that hijacked souls. I'd borne his sins too. Falsified efficacy reports. Buried adverse events. One kid, 19, OD'd on their opioid trial. Allergic reaction, the file said. My alliteration. Dawn broke full, painting the cab in bloody hues.
Elena shifted.
Wincing. This body. It's breaking down. Lungs like tar pits. Whatever Hale picked him for, it wasn't longevity. Guilt flickered. Unwanted. Daniel Hargrove, father. Fighter. Felled by the machine. I'd glimpsed his secrets in the neural bleed. A daughter lost to foster care. A son in juvie. Crimes he hadn't committed. Pinned by a crooked cop shakedown. Hale's web. Tentacles in every gutter. Pull over, I said abruptly. Spotting a roadside diner. Edna's Eats. Neon flickering like a migraine. We needed food. A plan. Anonymity. Inside. The air thick with grease and regret. Truckers hunched over skillets. A waitress named Barb with a name tag pinned like a purple heart. Elena drew stares, too poised in that brute shell, but I played decoy. Ordering biscuits and gravy. Black coffee strong as regret. Booth in the back. We plotted. My burner buzzed. News alert. Explosion at West Loop facility. Arson suspected. One body recovered. Unidentified male. Daniel. The purge had claimed him. Or her and him. No. Elena's anchor held. But the fire. She'd torched the evidence. And his husk with it? No. She was here. Victor, she murmured. Scanning the article. He's spinning it. Gas leak.
Industrial accident.
But the bodies. Mine. Your old shell. They think you're dead. Twist one, I'm a ghost. Hale's hunt shifts, mourn the martyr. Bury the tech. But Elena? Exposed if they DNA the remains. Her eyes met mine. Calculating. We vanish. Canada border. New IDs. Start over. Us. I leaned in, voice low. After you played Russian roulette with my soul? The diner door chimed. 2 suits. Earpieces. Scanning faces. Hale's bloodhounds. Faster than sin. Move, I hissed. Bolting for the kitchen. Elena followed. Barreling through swinging doors. Scattering busboys like pins. Out the back. Into a warren of semis. We hijacked another rig. Empty trailer. Keys in the visor. America's laxity our ally. I drove this time. Merging onto I-80 East. The engine's roar muffling my fury. Hours blurred. Pennsylvania turnpikes. Tolls paid in cash. Elena dozing fitfully. Her snores a stranger's rumble. I probed deeper, forcing confessions between gas stops. The affair started at a Davos after-party. Hale's hand on her knee under the table. He saw me, she admitted. Not the assistant, the visionary. And the crime I'd shouldered? The FDA kid, intentional overdose. To spike efficacy stats. 1 life for thousands, she'd justified. I'd signed off. Blind faith my ink. Rage built. A pressure cooker. By Ohio. I snapped. You don't get to hide in his skin. You face it. She woke. Bleary. What? Turn yourself in. Testify against Hale. Immunity for the truth. Laughter. Hollow. And leave you holding the bag? Again?
No.
I end it. I veered off at the next exit. Youngstown. Steel Ghost Town. My contact, Jimmy Ghost Ramirez. Black hat wizard who'd laundered my early BTC. His squat in a mill ruin, servers humming in the basement. Walls papered with Faraday foil.
Himi, tatudexcon.
Eyes like wet obsidian. Eyed Elena warily. Heard you were toast.
Alex.
What the fuck? Long story. I briefed.
Elena silent.
Fidgeting in Daniel's ill-fit jeans. Jimmy whistled. Body swap? That's black budget DARPA shit. Hale's got pull, Homeland strings. Can you crack his servers? Dump the files. He grinned. Feral. For old times?
Yeah.
But it's hot. Feds circling already. As code scrolled, Elena pulled me aside. This destroys everything. My career. Your career? I whirled. You destroyed me. Her face, his face softened. I love you,
Alex.
That's why I saved you. Lie or lifeline? The decision loomed. Controversial as hell. Burn it all. Or cut a deal. Jimmy hooped. Got gold. Trial vids. Donor lists. Hale's harvesting the poor like organ farms. Upload started. But alarms blared. Breach detected. Hale's counterhack. Doors splintered. Goons poured in. Hale himself at the rear. Bespoke suit amid the chaos. Smile like a shark's. Alexandra, he purred. Elena's pet project Levs. Hale's voice sliced through the basement din like a scalpel through silk, smooth. Assured. The timbre of boardrooms where lives were ledger lines. He stood framed in the shattered door. Floodlights from his TAC team, painting him in godlight. A silver-haired patriarch with eyes like polished obsidian. Flanking him, for shadows in Kevlar. Suppressed Glocks leveled. The air thick with cordite promise. Jimmy Dove, behind his rig. Fingers flying to abort the dump. But it was too late. Progress bar at 87%. Hale's empire hemorrhaging data to every whistleblower site from WikiLeaks to 4chan. Elena, God. Still thinking of her as that. Froze in Daniel's bulk. Hands half raised. A deer in Armani headlights. Victor, she said. Voice pitching high in his gravel.
Mistake.
It betrayed her. The lilt too refined for a Gary Grease monkey. Hale's smile didn't crack, but his eyes narrowed. Puzzle pieces slotting.
Dr. Voss. Fancy meeting you in.
Overalls. He gestured lazily. And a goon zip-tied Jimmy. The hacker sputtering curses in Spanglish. The glitch persists. Remarkable. I stepped forward. Heart jackhammering. But chin up, Alexandra Hale.
No.
Voss. The woman who'd clawed from community college to corner offices. It's over. Victor. The world seeing your soul trade fair. Donors. Deaths. The swaps all out. He chuckled. A low rumble that echoed off the server hum. Out? To whom? Conspiracy nuts and blue-check activists? By noon. It'll be deepfake psyop, courtesy of my friends at Langley. He holstered his ego, circling me like a critic appraising flawed art. You were supposed to be ash in that fire. Alexandra. Elena's little insurance policy gone wrong. Elena's flinch was telltale. She'd set the blaze to fake my death. Yes. But Hale knew the script. His affair with her? Not leverage, ownership. She sang like a canary after the clinic, he continued. Casual as brunch chat. Told me everything, your doubts. The audit fudges. That sweet little opioid tweak you both greenlit. The kid's face flashed, wide-eyed pledge from Toledo. Chasing med school dreams. His allergy was Elena's syringe. My cover-up. I justified it. Greater good. American innovations cost. Now, blood on my hands, sticky as regret. You monster, I spat. But Hale just tilted his head. Paternal. Monster? I'm the future. Darling. You and Elena? Tinkerers in my lab. He nodded to his men.
Begging.
Controversial choice. Fight or fold. I lunged for Jimmy's desk, palming a USB, the full dump. Offline now. Elena moved too, tackling a goon. Daniel's bulk turning the tables, cracking ribs with a haymaker that sprayed teeth like dice. Chaos erupted, gunfire stitching the walls. Ricochets whining like banshees. I rolled. Firing a wild shot from a dropped Glock missed. But it bought seconds.
Elena rotted.
Primal. Hurling a monitor like a discus. Shattering a thug's knee.
Hale retreated.
Barking into a comm. Extract. Protocol, Omega. His team fell back. Dragging Jimmy. But we had the USB. And the upload had seeded, mirrors popping on Tor nodes worldwide. We burst into the mill's upper levels. Youngstown's skeletal foundry, a maze of catwalks and slag heaps. Sirens converged, local PD. Tipped by hail spin. Active shooter. Domestics gone bad. America's finest. Tools in the toolkit.
Elena gasped.
Clutching his side. Blood seeping through flannel. Grazed me. Keep moving. We climbed rusted stairs. The Ohio River glinting below like a serpent scale. Rooftop. Helipad scars from better days. Wind whipping off the water. Hale's chopper thumped inbound. Blades slicing the night. Jump, she panted, eyeing the drop to the docks, 20 feet. Survivable in theory. Wait. I scanned the USB insurance files. Hale's kill list. Elena's emails plotting my erasure. We leverage this. Call his bluff. Too late. The bird touched down. Hale stepping out. Megaphone unnecessary in the gale. Give it up. Ladies. Elena. My offer stands. Join the real players. Alexandra? Walk away. Or swim with a fish. She hesitated. Eyes on him, lover. Lord. The man who'd promised empires. Betrayal's gravity pulled. Don't, I warned. But she stepped forward. Hands empty. Victor. The data's fragmented. I can. He shot her.
Point blank.
Center mass. Daniel's body crumpled. Hole blooming black against the shirt. No drama. Just physics. Bullet meets meat. I screamed. Raw. The sound swallowed by rotors. Hale turned. Casual. Loose ends. You next. Or the drive. Rage crested, controversial. Unhinged, I charged. USB clutched like a grenade. He fired, grazing my shoulder. Fire lancing. But momentum carried me, slamming him against the skid. We grappled, his manicured nails raking, my free hand clawing for his piece. The chopper lurched, pilot spooked, blades whirring death.
Elena groined.
Crawling, blood trailing.
Alex.
Run. Twist, her hand on my ankle. Not pulling down, pushing up. Take him with you.
Hale buket.
Knee to my gut. But I jammed the USB into his mouth. Gag gift, then headbutt. Stars exploding. We teetered on the edge. His eyes wide. Finally afraid. You think this ends me? He wheezed,
No, primelit.
kneeing his groin, toppling us both. Wind howled, the drop yawning. Sirens peaked below, floodlights painting us targets. Elena's voice. Fading, love you. Fix it.
Ishoz, pusht. Hale plummeted.
Scream cut short by Splash, Ohio's cold embrace. The chopper veered, abandoning. I slid to Elena, cradling her, him, the line blurring. Hold on. Ambulance coming. She smiled. Bloody. Too late. But the truth. It's out. Hale's done. Her eyes glazed. Daniel's chest stilled. Grief hit like a freight. Controversial cocktail. Relief. Rage. Love's bitter dregs. She'd saved me. In the end, sacrificed the shell for the soul. Cops swarmed. Cuffs clicking. But the USB burned in my pocket, vindication. Hale's body surfaced days later. Suicide the spin. But the leaks metastasized. Congressional probes. Headlines screaming soul theft scandal.
Me?
Indicted. Sure, accessory to fraud. The kid's death. But testimony bought leniency. A deal with feds hungry for Hale's scalp. Elena's ghost haunted the trials. Her notes the smoking gun. 6 months later, the federal courthouse in downtown Manhattan loomed like a marble tombstone. Steps slick with spring rain. I ascended them in a tailored pantsuit, Armani. Paid for by book deals and TED invites, flanked by handlers who whispered polling data like scripture. Alexandra Voss. Whistleblower. Survivor. The face of biotech's underbelly. Cameras flashed. A gauntlet of vultures in trench coats. Shouting. Dr. Voss. Did you know about the donors? Was it worth the body count? Worth it? The question gnawed. A worm in the apple of my redemption arc. I'd pled to misdemeanors, reckless endangerment. Data tampering. The kid's death spun as unwitting complicity. 6 months house arrest in a Tribeca loft. Therapy sessions dissecting betrayal like autopsy slides. But free? In America. Freedom's a spectrum, from supermax to subpoenas. Inside. The hearing room hummed with suits, DOJ sharks. Hale's orphan lawyers circling like remoras. The judge. A grizzled vet named Kowalski. Banged gavel. Silencing the buzz. MS. Voss. Your allocution. I stood. Voice steady. The rhythm of pressers honed. Your Honor. I stand here not as victim, but architect of my own fall.
Dr.
Elena Voss, my partner, and I chased gods in lab coats. Blind to the altars we built on broken backs. Victor Hale? He weaponized our hubris. The swap stole lives. Daniel Hargroves. Countless donors lured by false hope. I carried their sins. Signed the lies.
Today.
I atone. Murmurs rippled. Kowalski nodded. Stern but soft around the eyes. Father of 3. Per the dossiers. Noted. Sentencing. Time served. 3 years probation. Restitution to victims' families. Relief washed. Tainted.
Outside.
Reporters mobbed. Regrets? Hale's suicide murder? I paused. Mic'd up. Regrets? Every dawn. But justice? It's a start. The twist landed that night. Over bourbon in my loft. Jimmy Ghost. Paroled early on my say-so. Sprawled on the leather sectional.
Laptop glowing.
Alex. You see this. He spun the screen. Encrypted drop from Elena's ghost account. Time-stamped pre-Youngstown. I scanned, breath catching. Not suicide, Hale's faked death. Plastic surgery in Zurich. New identity as a Cayman shell mogul. And Elena?
Alive.
The grazing wound staged. Daniel's body a decoy, cloned neural map. Her consciousness forked into a backup shell. Some off-grid donor Hale didn't know about. Betrayal's Hydra. She'd played us both.
Me?
Restored to fight. Hale. Lured to the drop, her. Vanishing with the master code. The affair? Smokescreen. Power was her god. And we'd been apostles. Fury reignited. But laced with awe, her cunning. Machiavellian masterpiece. Controversial end. Hunt her?
Or join.
The drive hummed. Her final note. Forever's a swap.
Alex.
Choose your skin wisely. I poured another. Staring at the skyline, New York's electric pulse. America's beating heart. Happy? Tragic? Debatable. I'd exposed the beast, but birthed a bigger shadow. Elena out there, queen of the ghosts. The phone rang, burner. Untraceable. Her voice. Lilting. Unchanged. Miss me? I smiled.
Dark.
Walk it off.
Elena.
We're just getting started. Revenge? Eternal. In this body. This life. Mine again. But scarred, I'd chase her to the horizon. Swapping truths like souls in the night.